All right, let's now move on to the 1-year anniversary of the January 6th Trump riots. A year minus a day ago, being January 5th, this was January 6th of last year. Many of us, about 1.25 million of you, tuned in to pieces of my coverage of the Trump riots. It feels like it was yesterday. It's now been a year. In that year, we have seen hundreds of cases against the rioters move forward who were clearly Trump supporters. We have learned more about, yes, the plan, the expectation, the hope from Trump and Trumpists that this or anything would prevent the certification of Joe Biden's win on January 6th. And Donnie O'Sullivan, or Donnie, I forget exactly how it's pronounced. It's Donnie or Donnie from CNN. He's excellent. He went and interviewed Trumpists 1 year on from the Trump riots. Have they come around to reality in any way on what took place? Have they accepted that it was Trump people who did the rioting and Joe Biden did win the election? They have not. This is one of the most stunning. If there were a sociological time capsule to look at 1,000 years from now, this video should be on it. Let's jump right into it.
January 6th attack was not the Republicans nor Trump. It was the Democrats were behind it all. They're the ones that caused it all.
Do you really believe that?
I know it. And there is no way that a Republican would act that way. And there is no way that Trump had anything to do with what happened on January 6th.
This is the no true Scotsman fallacy. This is, by definition, the rioters couldn't have been Trumpists because no Republicans would ever do that. It's a closed loop. It's doxastic closure. It is an indefeasible statement. Call it whatever you want. You cannot reason people out of that belief because there is no reason as to why they hold it. You just can't do it. By definition, the rioters weren't Republicans because Republicans wouldn't riot. Wow. Strong statement.
But what about all the Trump supporters that have been charged and indicted?
Because it's all Democratic judges and people that were on the take from the Democrats.
It's been a year since the attack on the U.S. Capitol.
This is our capital!
And because of disinformation, denial, and diversion, Americans don't have a shared history, a shared understanding of what happened here on that day.
I'll say.
I think the whole reporting of it is a giant hoax. We are very peaceful people. So it was a total setup. To me, it was the FBI had set it up. I don't believe that they were Trump supporters that did that.
Right.
You said the whole thing's a setup. You don't really believe that, do you?
I do. I do. Because Trump won the election. They've proven it over and over again.
I really don't think Trump had much to do with it, and people that were supporters for him, some were involved, but I think they were enticed by the FBI.
This is why I say we have to take very seriously the possibility of something even worse in 2024. Listen to what these people are saying. There's no entry point to disabuse these folks of these false beliefs.
And by undercover agents.
Dear God.
When I spoke to Trump supporters here in Washington on January 6th, most were in denial about the results of the 2020 election. Do you accept that Biden won the election?
Absolutely not. Biden did not win this election.
On January 6th, we walked with Trump supporters who marched from the White House, where Trump was doing his speech, here to the U.S. Capitol. And as we arrived here, that is when the first security barrier was breached. At the time, some Trump supporters told me they were happy with what happened here at the Capitol. Are you proud of what happened here today?
Absolutely. I think we should have gone on in and yanked our senators out by the hair of the head and drug them out and said, no more.
Now understand that now they say no Republican would ever behave that way. Anyone who did that stuff wouldn't be a Republican. And yet a year ago, here are Republicans saying we should go in there and drag senators out by their hair. So are these the people that are the fake Republicans?
I'm absolutely stand behind 100% what happened here today. 1,000%. I think it's terrible how this election was stolen.
Federal prosecutors have charged more than 700 people in connection with the Capitol riot and repeatedly documented the rioters' support for President Trump. But some people in right-wing media have pushed the dangerous idea that it was all an FBI plot.
FBI operatives were organizing the attack on the Capitol.
There is absolutely no evidence whatsoever that this was some kind of false flag event staged by the Democrats or the FBI. What would you say to people who say January 6th was the biggest attack on American democracy since the Civil War?
Absolute rubbish.
But amid all the denial and deflection, I met one Trump supporter who said it was important to be real about what happened on that day. What do you think of the Trump supporters that stormed the Capitol?
Oh, my. You talk about misfound feelings. Seeing the folks from my side of the state that were there, and they're not the part of the campaign that we would like to have.
Do you think some Trump supporters that say it's Antifa, it's Black Lives Matter, that they know that that's bullshit, but they just don't want to admit it's easier to blame someone else?
Everyone is afraid to, take the blame.
So that last point is an important one, and we've talked about it before. Do these Trumpists literally believe that Trump won and that the rioters were Antifa and the FBI, or is it something they say to signal that they're on the team and they accept that sometimes in a war you've got to tell lies or whatever because of the greater good? We don't really have the answer to the question. The answer is probably some of them really do believe it, but some of them understand that in order to show that I'm on the team, it's what I've got to say. 1 year later, and it is as bad as it has ever been, which should really scare us about 2024. Let's take a quick break. You can find me on Twitter at @dpacman and let me know your thoughts about these incredible videos. One of our sponsors is called Privacy. Privacy is a totally free service that I've been using for years. Privacy lets me create virtual payment cards with one click, and when I use the virtual card, the money is taken out of my bank account. You can create multiple cards, delete them, freeze them, set a spending limit on them. Let's say I'm signing up for a free trial and it requires a credit card. Privacy will autofill a virtual card number, and then after signing up, I can delete that virtual card. So I know I'm not going to be charged again. Something really useful and very practical. Or let's say I'm ordering food over the phone, but I left my wallet somewhere. I don't have my real credit card on me. I can use a virtual card on my Privacy mobile app. But really the best part is you're not out there exposing your real credit card number, so you're not as susceptible to data breaches and identity theft. Privacy is a totally free service, and you'll get $5 to spend when you go to privacy.com/Pacman. The link is right underneath this video.